Lovely. Well, thank you. Thank you for joining us this evening or wherever you are in the world. We are running this Relaunch Your Career Masterclass to really help you think about what a career opportunity could look like for you, how you assess opportunities as you move forward. And it's a series of things that will help you reflect on your attributes, your skills, your experience, and for you then to consider, I guess, what career opportunities are available for you, where you might be looking for more flexibility or more pay. We'll be talking more about what the Salesforce ecosystem could offer you. Obviously, that might be one choice that you're looking at, but this is absolutely the right place to be to just find out more. And that's all it is tonight, is just really that opportunity for you to find out more about what this could offer you, but also for you to consolidate and really get really feel more confident in actually what you could bring to a new role. At Supermums, we've been helping people relaunch their career for 7 years, and we place obviously a big emphasis on helping people rethink about how they can sell themselves into a new job, because it's never too late to relaunch. And we've had 1,300 people go through this program and relaunch themselves and had to sort of resell themselves into job opportunities without going back to a base salary, right? So it's about understanding how you can carry things over and do that. So we're going to be going through that journey. I'll share my story and why we are here and why we do this today, and then go into some exercises for you to reflect. And obviously, if you want to share those in the chat, you can do. If not, you can obviously keep it to yourself. That's absolutely fine. But just really, it's an opportunity tonight for you to reflect on actually what are my attributes, what are my skills, what is my experience, and you can take that away and start to appraise the opportunities that are available to you, and you can make that, as I say, that informed decision. We also offer free career consultations as well, where you can spend 30 minutes. Lynn and Shellen. Lynn's, I don't think, is here because she's travelling back from London today because we've been at an event in London. We've got Shellen on the line, and she takes calls, so we'll be sharing the link to book in a call. And that conversation is really that conversation to talk through, is this right for me? Find out more, ask all the questions that might have come off the back of this session, because we're all reflectors. There might be things that we haven't answered for you, and other things that come up. So we're there to offer those free consultations as well. And there's not really anybody else that I know of that offers that in the Salesforce ecosystem. And it's say, you might come away thinking it's not for you, and that's absolutely fine, but it's there for you to help you make an informed decision about whether this is an industry that you really want to work in and do. So that's the reason I set up Supermums, is really to help raise awareness of career opportunities that offer more pay, or great pay and flexibility. And I'll be talking around the range of roles that could resonate with you, because it isn't one job role, there are a suite of job roles, and you could walk into one of those job roles from the start. So I'll be talking about what that might look like for you, and I'll help you. The quiz will help you identify the job that might be the most suitable for you. So there is a job for everybody in that quiz based on your attributes and your superpowers. So it'll be interesting to see what you come out with as we go through the session today. And we just want to take you on that journey to help you think about, whether it's something you can do. So as a background, I pivoted to become a Salesforce consultant after a situation where I was having to rethink my career opportunity. This was back in 2012. I was running a business at the time that was very much funded by government funding in the UK, and the political party changed, all the funding stream changed, and I was at the pivotal point going, well, actually, my business isn't really viable anymore because that funding isn't available. But I was just about to move out of London, start a family, and I was thinking, well, what can I do that's going to give me good pay but offer me flexibility whilst I'm going to start a family? And I think many people are in that situation where when they have a family, they start appraising, well, how do I get the flexibility I need but not lose that sense of having a career still? Obviously, some parents are fortunate that they might take more time off, but at some point they might then go back. So we've certainly supported people who have had 4 or 5 years off, 8 years, 9 years, 13 years, and been the empty nester at 18 and then decided to come back. So it's never too late to pivot and restart. It's just about finding the thing that excites you, most importantly, and that you feel that you would really thrive in, and so that's kind of where you want to go. And I was in that situation where I was like figuring out, what do I do next? And it was really through making the effort to have conversations with people and to learn more and to lean in that helped me make that choice about making, helping me understand what the career opportunities were, what training I would need to do, and whether it was something that I could go into. So I spent quite a bit of time talking to people who worked in the Salesforce industry. I didn't have a tech background. I was a business coach and career coach. I was used to asking people questions, which is actually one of the job roles, is, really understanding how businesses work and supporting them to improve their processes, report on their KPIs and goals. That's very much a business coaching trait. I was running a business at the time, so I understood obviously the different facets of running a business, from HR to marketing to sales. And I enjoyed that variety. And so I was looking for something that, resonated with those skill sets. And that's where Salesforce came in. And for those of you that don't know what Salesforce is a client relationship management system. It's the #1 CRM solution in the world, bigger than Microsoft Dynamics, for example. It's the one that most of the FTSE 100 companies use, but it's also used by a lot of medium-sized and small companies and non-profits. So over 150,000 companies use it worldwide, over 35,000 non-profits use it worldwide. There is a shortage of talent in the space because more and more companies have used it than there has been people skilled up in it. So the salaries are high because there's a bit of a shortage of talent. Typically people stay in a job 2 years because they'll get poached and be offered another 10 grand in another job. So you tend to move from one to the other, which gives you more variety, different skills and experience. But if I go back to what a CRM does, if you were imagining you were calling your bank up or your mobile phone provider, they will have all your information in a system. They will be able to see your account information, your address, your contact information. They'll be able to see what products they have with you. They'll be able to see the last time you called and what that conversation was about, any emails that have been sent to you. It's that 360-degree view of a customer. And where all the information is stored. And if you like, I think about it as the living, beating heart of an organization, because all of the employees need to be able to look at Joe Blogs and see all the interactions and communication that's happened with Joe Blogs. And where success looks like, if you think about your mobile phone company or finance company, it's absolutely essential and normally compliance that everybody is recording everything. If a member of staff didn't do that, the likelihood is that they might be booted out because they're not following protocols. And so this is the same with any charity. For example, if you're working in non-profit space, they will need to record all the information about a beneficiary they're working with that maybe they're giving counselling to, or they might be recording all the donations from a fundraising perspective. They might be tracking all the donations they're getting in from somebody. If they're working with volunteers, they might be tracking all the volunteers they've got and the activities those volunteers are doing. So all of that, it can manage all the sales information and transactions. It has Service Cloud, which allows you to track all the communication, whether it's social media, telephone, SMS messaging with customers, emails, for example. You've got Marketing Cloud, which allows you to interact and send emails to those customers. You've got what we call the non-profit cloud that allows you to track all those fundraising and volunteer activities. And so Salesforce has that ability to be your one-stop shop to track and record all client information. And pretty much no organization can really survive without a CRM in it. And so in terms of the resilience of the job opportunities in the sector, there's always going to be the need for people to manage those systems, because it's impossible for companies to operate if there's not a system where all their customer information is being stored and saved and kept, and those need to be maintained. So they are the more resilient jobs in what we call the tech sector, because there are different, when we talk about the tech sector more broadly, there's lots of different job opportunities. But with Salesforce, because it's a CRM system, it is the one that no company is going to ever do without. Quite frankly, they cannot live without a system to manage things at whatever scale it is. So integrating these systems is partly what you've been managing. So the kind of different job roles there, in that you might be maintaining and managing that system and support users to manage that system. and I will go more into job roles. But also equally, you might just go in and implement the system for an organization, and that might take 6 months to a year, and then you might walk out and go and do it for another organization. So there's different job roles, and I would say we'll dive into that a little bit more when you've done your quiz. So I found that this really resonated with me because as a business coach and running a business, I really enjoyed helping organizations think through their processes, thinking about their goals and their targets and measuring where they were on that journey, cleaning up their data and really understanding what that meant. And it feels like quite a maternal role in a way, because you're tidying things, you're streamlining things, you're helping people, you're training people on this technology. And so I think it lends itself to those different traits of helping, organizations just get their, if I say get their shit together a little bit better, because otherwise, if they don't have that, they've kind of got, contacts and communication in spreadsheets and all over the place. That's the worst case that an organization could be in, is that they've got, no overarching view of a customer, which doesn't allow a business to really operate, or a team to operate in any succinct way. So I've gone into organizations where they're all living off siloed information and spreadsheets and everything else, put Salesforce in, and all of a sudden, rather than Joe Bloggs being on 5 different spreadsheets with all this different information, they can see Joe Bloggs has, all this communication, and this is all the interaction they're doing with it. So it's quite a very powerful tool to just help an organization really perform. And the reason I love Salesforce so much, and I missed this little bit out of the journey, is I had implemented Salesforce for the nonprofit that I was running. And due to the power of the information it gave me, I was able to grow my nonprofit from 100K to 1.3 million in a year, and grow from 4 staff to 40 staff over that time. So I'd sort of really fallen in love with Salesforce and what it could do for me and for a nonprofit, because I was like, wow, okay, this is giving me the compliance, it's giving me the marketing capability, it's giving me the tool to manage a team. We're able to track all our data, and that allowed me to win more work and more projects because of all of those facets. So when I was thinking about that pivot, I was so thrilled with, I suppose, how it had helped me, until the funding streams changed, that I wanted to go and help other nonprofits implement Salesforce to help them grow, to help them raise more money, to help them get more volunteers, to help them manage all of their delivery. And so I stepped into being a Salesforce consultant. I had to train up, but I spent money on courses, spent 2.5 grand on my training, but then I was earning £400 day rates. So within the first year, I was working 3 days a week, and I'd earned over £60,000 just working 3 days a week, completely remotely with customers. So for me, 2 grand was basically 4 days worth of work. Like, that was the ROI for me. And then I invested in other training that helped me skill up and grow from there. So I pivoted, I trained. I was then, I say, working 3 days a week, earning 650, then 770 the next year. And then I then had to go, well, which direction do I go? Because I was actually getting more work than I could manage myself. And I was thinking, well, I could go and work for another organization and pivot there. I decided to build a team around me, and I grew a Salesforce consultancy. So I ended up growing the Salesforce consultancy to a team of 20. We worked with 350 nonprofits over, I think it was 7 or 8 years, and on 700 projects that we delivered over that time. So I've learned a lot about, running Salesforce projects and how that delivers. But what I really enjoyed about that is helping these organizations. And I always say, going back to values, and the values exercise is a really good one to do when you're thinking about the jobs you want to do, is what I really enjoyed. I would always say is that I'm coming into this organization to make you happier. I want to make you happier in that we reduce your administration, because we can automate emails, for example. We can give you the performance data that you need when you're looking at your targets and goals without having to go and manually sort of find it. We can make sure that you can see a 360-degree view of a customer, so you've not got that pain points. I'm here to make your life easier and happier. And that was my end goal, really, with any organization and any team member. And the reality of that is that I would have managers say to me, that means that I can have my weekends off because I no longer need to do report analysis at weekends. I've got my dashboard that shows it. Or another person said, I'm not worrying now I'm on holiday, because on holiday, if I want to see, I can just go and log in and look at the dashboard. I'm not asking people for information and not being able to see it. And then another guy had said to me over the years, this is fantastic because now we're automating emails and getting rid of the boring admin, which means I can actually get home to see my kid on time at night. And it's those things that really resonate with me, because I'm like, that's the power that you can have, is to really help not just the business or the nonprofit grow, but also help individuals, be happier in their job roles. And so making people happy and training people, giving them those tools and resources certainly allowed me to live out one of my values. The other value for me was very much around creativity and learning and knowledge development. So with every project I worked on, you're always learning. And I think what's important to acknowledge about changing career is that you might do an initial course, but you have to be in a position where you're going to be keen to do ongoing learning, particularly in the technology space, because things continue to evolve and innovate. So you will get that appetite, or you'd want to have the appetite for lifelong learning. So I really enjoy going into different customers, learning new products, learning about their problems, looking how I could solve them. So I'm very much a solutions person. I like to help people solve problems. I like to be creative in what those ideas might be to solve those problems. And then to create this solution for them, which they think is amazing. That's the ideal end result. And then you can walk out and then go and do that with another organization. So being a Salesforce professional, I feel, allows you to live out those kind of values: creativity, problem solving, lifelong learning, making people be happy, tidying things, kind of making things sort of more streamlined and smooth. And so some of those things might resonate with you, if that's the kind of thing that you're looking for. It certainly allows you to sort of live that out. So when I was on that journey, though, this is when I launched Supermums, because I recognised through growing a consultancy of my own, and being in the Salesforce ecosystem, that there was a gap of talent available. Like, all the companies were just poaching from each other. There wasn't enough around, which is why we launched Supermums 7 years ago. At that point in time, there was no other way of training up other than in a classroom environment for 5 days, and you'd pay £3,500 for the training. And so that was the only way people could train. Now, our courses were completely virtual. We paced them out to try and make it manageable, but also we provide much more in-depth training than you would just get off a 5-day course. So we'll go a little bit more into the training towards the end of the session, and sort of tell you a little bit more about how you would skill up. But I launched Supermums because I wanted to attract and educate more people about the career opportunities, like running workshops like we're doing tonight, and attract people into the space, skill them up with the right information, knowledge, experience, references they need to actually get a job successfully. So our program is quite distinct and unique, still in the marketplace, to make sure people are equipped to relaunch properly. And as I say, we started 7 years ago. We started with 3 people on the first course, and now we're up to 60 per cohort. So we get over 300 people going through our training courses a year, virtually. And they, over the years, we've built this massive ecosystem of where people are in all of these companies. So today we ran an event and we had some amazing companies there, like Capgemini and Slalom, and Persistent Systems, a lot of big companies in the ecosystem. We've worked with over 200 companies to help place people into jobs. And so we've built a massive community. So you're not alone. If you was to start this career, you'd meet people who are starting with you, but equally you can meet people who are already in the space and have been on this journey before you. So you're not alone, which is what I'm saying, is you kind of have a fast track into a new career, a new industry, and people taking you under their wing and helping you get job opportunities and sort of developing all of that. And I think that's incredibly important, to feel like you've got that support when you're moving through. So Supermums has sort of grown, and it is there to support you. So we'll sort of talk more about, say, the training, the opportunity. If it's something of interest, you can obviously stay on for that bit towards the end. So I'm going to invite you to do the quiz. in the link. I don't know if anybody joined afterwards, but maybe I'll just repost it just in case. Quiz, I'll just talk a little bit about the quiz. So I designed the quiz with a view that it helps you think about your parenting attributes. So if you're not a parent, because we do have people on our program that aren't parents, you might think about your role with a friend or somebody else. You know, the same things can apply in terms of how you might interact with somebody else. So I'd love you to it's really there to help you identify your superpowers as a parent, or as I say, as a friend to somebody. And with those, what I recognized with all these different attributes we have is that actually they very much align to one of the different job roles, 6 job roles in the Salesforce ecosystem. And so it will help you identify which role you might resonate with. But what I'll do is explain the different job roles in more depth once you've done the quiz. So I'll just give you 5 minutes to do the quiz. And then once you've done it, if you're welcome to share what the job role is that you came out as at the end, and we'll see what you've got. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that and I'll stop talking. I feel like my voice is going to go because I've been talking all day. So it gives me a break. Oh my God, money, it's gone very quick. Monique's on one of our courses already. Been there. I like that point, Stephen. Yeah, where you get kids to do that quiz for you. The other good quiz that I enjoyed doing with my kids is the love languages one. It's quite interesting as well, like getting them to see what love language they are or think they are. Another good one. There's an anger management quiz as well. My daughter took that one, which was quite funny. On the same love languages website. Right, so we've got Salesforce consultant, Salesforce project manager, Shannon. let us know when you've done, even if you don't want to share what you've got, just let us know if you're done anyway, just so we can move on, obviously, when everybody's got to the same point.
I took the quiz, Heather. I've got a Salesforce consultant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A woman of many traits. The combined one. You like variety as a consultant.
There's no option for that's going to take me into the marketing.
Very good, very good. Means you've got a mix of the skills, or you don't mind a mix of the skills. Good, okay.
Woman with many hats.
Yeah, exactly. Because we get bored if we just do one thing, right? Right. Is anybody still doing it? Okay, all right. We shall continue with the explanation. So sorry, I've got project manager, completed the admin course. Okay. Fabulous. So we've all got a bit of a mix, so it's good. So let's sort of unpack this a little bit, and I can explain the logic behind the quiz for you to rationalize it from your point of view. So the first one, I've shared my screen with like a summary. This summary and the information that I'm going to go through on these slides is we have a career document which has this information in it. So there's probably in the emails that have been sent out to you anyway, but also we can just provide the link to this resource in the chat as well, so you can download it. So one of the first roles will be a Salesforce business analyst. And with the business analyst role, it very much suits people who love asking questions, are sort of the empathetic person, likes solutionizing with clients and coming up with the solutions, but not actually having to build anything. They just like discussing it all. So they're very much a people person. They like facilitating groups and conversations. And if you were thinking about your parenting style or your style with a friend, for example, you're the one that just likes to sit down with friends and talk things through and find solutions to problems. So that kind of empathetic listening ear, if you like. When I've gone in and done what we call the design sessions with a business team, what I would be doing is meeting the sales team, for example, and asking them about their sales process and asking step by step, what do you do in your sales process? And then at each point of their journey, saying, what they do when they're calling up people, or what they then send that person, how they interact. I would be recommending technology solutions to improve that process and make it better for them. And so I come out of the workshop with a new process, a new and improved process for them for their sales process. And then I would hand that to the technical person to build. And that leads me to the Salesforce administrator role. So a Salesforce administrator will then build that system for them. They'll build out this new Salesforce system. So that kind of person, if we think about the parenting, the traits behind that quiz, it's people who are not scared of learning new technology. They like to just build and get on with it and create the solution. You might like just sort of not having to be interactive with people all the time. You might just want to get your head down and crack on with things and, just be behind your computer, quite frankly, because maybe you don't want to talk to people, particularly if maybe you've had lots of kids. But they love learning tech, and say building it and learning new things, and creating solutions. So they will be quite hands-on with their kids. They might be the early adopter of technology that they're then teaching their kids. So that's sort of the traits that are in the quiz that you might really resonate with. So the administrator builds the system, and they might train people in the system as well, how to use it. So again, there's those traits there of, making sure that people know how to use the system, in that quite maternal role that you might have, to supporting them and making sure everybody's happy basically on it. And then you've got the project manager role. Now, the project manager will sort of sit there and oversee and delegate and coordinate. So if you're one of those people in the family that loves budgeting, having task lists, making sure everybody knows what they're doing at what time, isn't necessarily the one that wants to get their hands dirty with tech, but will say to their daughter, can you just learn how to deal with that new gadget that we've got and teach me how to do it? That's the kind of project manager person, because you're good at delegating, you're good at coordinating, and you kind of oversee things. So you might have obviously had these traits in previous jobs, and we'll talk about that. But also, when you're thinking about your attributes, are you that natural coordinator, organizer, managing who's doing what? So in a project manager role, you wouldn't be building the technology, you wouldn't necessarily be in those design workshops, but you would be liaising with different stakeholders to make sure that things are being done on time. So when the design workshops are happening, when the build's happening, what budget's been allocated to those things, and what the timelines are, and everybody knows what's expected of them and what they're doing. So that's the project manager role. And I have put the salaries in here. Sorry, I didn't really touch on the salaries, but you can see the salary ranges. And these salary ranges in here are for permanent roles as opposed to contract roles. In contract roles, you always get paid more on a day rate. But obviously then you've got to obviously consider, if you take holidays, for example, you obviously don't get paid as a contractor for holidays. But we have a salary survey that's sort of a salary guide that gives you the contract day rates as well as the permanent day rates. So moving through, some of you had the consultant role. Now, a consultant role is somebody that actually likes doing a range of these things. So if you become a Salesforce consultant, there's different, what's the phrase? As a Salesforce consultant, you could be a BA and an admin. So you could do the design and build. You could be the BA, admin, and project manager. So you might wear all of those three hats. Or you just might be the BA. So as a consultant, you can be a hybrid of all of those things. I operated as a consultant because I actually enjoyed doing the workshop. I enjoyed doing the build. I enjoyed doing the project management. But I also, in my life cycle of doing that role specifically, as opposed to running Supermums now, I did also those distinct roles as well. I was just a BA at one point as part of a team, and I was just an admin at one point. But as a consultant, you then don't have to be one of those things. You can say, well, actually, I like that variety. I want to do it. And so there are job roles where you can do that variety. And again, sort of earn more. So with all of these, it's not necessarily progression. We've had people do our course and step straight into a BA role, or step into a PM role, or an admin role, or a consultant. You don't have to start in one of these and go through. You've then got the Salesforce account exec and customer success role. So this is like the sales role, if you like. You are selling Salesforce to an organization. And once you've sold it in, that's when all the other team that we've just talked about get involved. I did sales. I was running a consultancy. I ended up doing more sales. In some ways, I quite liked it because you could just sell the dream, get them all excited, but then not have to do any of the legwork. So it's quite nice to do that. And you get paid actually the most out of any of the roles. So if you're a good influencer and you really enjoy talking to people, get them excited, sharing concepts, obviously you have sales targets. So there is that, that pressure of selling things to people. that's where a Salesforce account exec or customer success role come in. And those traits, going back to the quiz, is very much around, if you are the one that's always selling new gadget to your friends, or I just bought this and it's amazing and you should try it, or you're always influencing and like trying to sell things to your kids to get them to do things. If you're the good negotiator and a salesperson, this role might suit you. And I think it's a really fun role to do because you get to meet all these prospective clients, you get to understand their problems, you then sort of have that creativity to give them solutions. And once they've kind of bought into the big concept of it all, as I say, you sort of pass it over for the BAs and the admins and the consultants to do all the actual implementation and the grafting, while you then go and sell to another client, and sort of do that. So that's where these different traits lie, and why I think the quiz is quite interesting when you layer on those different traits, these different job roles lend itself. Now, I've worn all of these hats, in my career, and that I've done that because at different points of when I've had my kids and how old they are and what I fancy doing, I've changed. So, you could have a career where you're actually, you do one thing and then you do another and you go into another thing. You don't have to go, oh, I'm going to be an admin and that's all I'm going to be. Every couple of years you could try and pivot into one of these other roles if you wanted to. So you've got a lot of variety there. And going back to the point that on average people stay in a role 2 years, the reason for that is because, one, you'll get poached by another company offering you another 10k. The other reason is that every company you work with or consultancy will have different specialisms and different projects and different products. And so, if you've got that thirst to learn, and you don't, you've done one product and you've learned that, you might then go and say, well, actually, I want to go and learn this next. And you get that, that bug for learning and sort of getting your hands dirty with different things is, it's normal. It's normal to do that. But with every jump, you'll get a pay increase and an opportunity there. So that's why it's a great progression opportunity. And certainly, you're never going to get bored, that's for sure. Now, in terms of moving then on to, we've looked at attributes. I want you to think about your industry background. And one of the things that's really important in this space, I think with any transferable skill, career opportunity you look at, whether it's Salesforce and other ones you're considering, thinking about the industry experience and how you can transfer that over is important. Now, within Salesforce, as I say, Salesforce is a CRM that gets implemented into industry verticals. The verticals on here, we call them industry verticals, are the ones that Salesforce specifically have focuses on. So they will sell their product into companies and non-profits that operate in these spaces. So, for example, at Supermums, we've placed talent in 3 insurance companies. We've placed talent, within different non-profits. We've placed talent within energy and utilities companies, for example. So these companies and consultancies, and I'll explain the difference actually between an end customer, if you like. So an end customer is a telecommunications company that uses Salesforce. You've got jobs there where you can go and work in the actual company that is using Salesforce and be their administrator or internal BA or project manager. You can work inside an organization like that, or you can work for a Salesforce consultancy. And a Salesforce consultancy will be going in and implementing Salesforce for different companies for that 6 months and a year, and then coming back out. Now, how you might choose between the two is up to you. I think one of the examples I give about how you might think about it is, for me, I really enjoy consultancy because I get bored. I like learning new things. I like new challenges. So being a consultant and going into different companies suited me really well because I like to go in, set it up, come out. I enjoy that challenge. Whereas for other people, they find that uncomfortable. Some people want that stability and familiarity and to know and be in an organization where they can help. They know the teams really well. They know the processes. They know the system really well. And they're like the mother hen nurturing everybody in that system. And they just want that comfort. They don't want to be thrown into different projects and different opportunities and sort of, every time. So if you are a person like that, likes that stability and building that confidence in a space and just sort of knowing that system really well, then you'd probably go and work for an end user who, you know, like a bank or a financial a media company or communications company where they're using it. If you like a lot of variety and you like change and diversity and learning new things, then I would be recommending you work for a Salesforce consultancy who will specialize in these verticals. Now, a Salesforce consultancy will focus on a few of these industries, and they will want to hire people with this industry experience. That's top of their list of who they're hiring. They can teach you Salesforce, or you know, if you've got Salesforce, everybody knows Salesforce as a starting point. But what they can't teach you is years of understanding that industry. So when I pivoted to become a Salesforce consultant, I focused on the non-profit space. And I focused on the non-profit space because that was my background of running a non-profit. I knew the lingo, the stakeholders, the terminology, the KPIs that were important. I could speak their language. I understood their processes. I understood their needs and their pain points. And so I would win work with non-profits because I could really resonate with them and I could speak their language. That's why a Salesforce customer or consultancy will hire you, is because if you pivot into a customer or consultancy where you already know the background in that industry, they know that you're going to help them do well in that project because you already understand the KPIs and the processes and the systems and the lingo. Now, I'm not saying you might hate the industry you worked in, but obviously you're going in with a slightly different hat. You're going in to clean up messes as opposed to like deal with messes in a way. So it can be quite therapeutic. But equally, you know, you don't have to stay working in that industry, but to get your foot in the door, if you sell yourself into a Salesforce project that is based on your past experience, it'll be easier to get your foot in the door. But then obviously once you've got your foot in the door with a Salesforce project, you can then pivot into other industries and other varieties. So you don't have to stay there, but it can be the easiest step to take because ultimately Salesforce companies that hire Salesforce professionals want people with past industry experience. And so you know, it's really good to sort of reflect on that. So I don't know what I'd love you to do if you're happy to is just to share in the chat which industries you feel that you've got experience in. You know, and you can obviously make a mental note of that. If you go to the Salesforce website, you can see all these verticals on their website and you can have a look at case studies and industries that, you know, case studies of these industries and what products they are. Obviously, that's a bit of homework and research for you to do, but they're all on there and it will help to explain to you how they operate in that space. Sorry. So yeah, if you want to put in the chat any of those industries that work for you, that'd be fab. You're happy to. And they'll have all their logos on their website as well. And equally, you know, if you speak to a member of our team, we can talk you through which companies and industries we've worked with as well before. But we have clients that employ from us from across these different sectors. Oh, great. So we've got a range of things there. Wonderful. So that's one lens. And as I say, I think if you're relaunching your career, if you can find something that you can, you know, these different things you can transfer over, it definitely helps to start with to get a foot in the door. So that's that exercise. And then moving through to skills. Great to see all these different experience. Thanks for sharing, everyone. Moving through to transferable skills. Now, I've talked about the different job roles, so probably a lot of these will make sense to you given what I've talked about and what those roles are. But if you've had previous skills and experience in different working environments or even volunteering environments and even family care environments, you know, if you're looking after other people, you know, obviously if we've had people that have been out of work for quite a few years, we encourage them to think about where they've practiced these skills in other areas of their life to sell into employers. And that's definitely worked. People who've been out of work for many years have actually landed the first job they went into, the interview. So it's certainly not insurmountable to land a job when you've been out of work for a while. And that's because we do quite a lot of prep work with you to help you think about how you sell yourself in and come across. But there's all these different transferable skills that really resonate with those roles. So people management is a big thing. If you can think about where you've managed people previously, you might have been a manager, you might not have had the role of title of manager, but maybe you've managed people in different circumstances. That might be customers or different stakeholders. It might be as a team lead. If you can think about some of those tools and skills that you've used for people management, they're great skills to sell in. When you're running Salesforce projects, you are, particularly if you're working as a BA, for example, and a project manager or a consultant, you will be doing a lot of people management. It's a lot about bringing people on a journey with you, because they're all looking at you going, okay, what's this new product I've got to learn and how do I use it? And so you've really got to hold their hand on this journey, to make sure that you're designing something that's going to work for them and that you're training them in this product. So when you walk out, they know what they're doing every day. So holding somebody's hand, building that rapport with them, supporting them, teaching them things, coaching them on the journey are all skills that you will be able to transfer over, and you should be selling on your CV if you were to step into this role. So think about people management and the facets of people management, and think about what you've done before and what you can bring over. The second is project management. So one of those roles is obviously project management. You might have not have an official project management cert, but you may well have done project managing where you're managing people, you're managing time, you're managing budget, even if it's in the household, to in a project at work, for example, or for volunteering. So you can sell those project management skills in. They're very much relevant to a Salesforce role. Customer service is huge. It's actually one of the things that employers really look at, the ability to manage those relationships with users of the system, customers of the system, customers that you're working with, particularly if you're working for a consultancy, holding that level of trust. Salesforce companies like to hire more mature people because they're able to hold those high level business conversations, as opposed to 20-year-old graduates who might not have that depth of experience to hold those level of conversations with people. They really want to hire mature people who can come in and deal with customers, speak to people, bring them on the journey and build that trust. So if you've been in roles where customer service is important, and what that looks like, might be different depending on your experience, it's a great thing to add to your CV. Data analytics. If you've been in any role where you're analysing data to produce reports for things as a manager, or maybe that was your specific job title, analysing data to assess performance is a great attribute. When you're designing Salesforce systems, the report and dashboards that you get is the number one priority. You design everything around the reports and dashboards to be able to give the management the information they need about how the company is performing and what it's doing. So it's a big emphasis on that. Training and facilitation skills. So have you been in any skills previously where you've facilitated people, might be even a PTA meeting, which can be a bit of a challenge in its own right, or you might be training people on certain things, even if it's your kids. I mean, hats off to any people that do homeschooling. Training kids at home is a hard graft. So training, facilitation skills are everything that you'd want to sell and promote, in your CV and skills and sell in. It's very relevant for these job roles because you are training people and guiding them and teaching new technology. So they're great skills to transfer over. Communication skills, that kind of builds on people management, training, facilitation. Anything where you've communicated, customer service skills, has overlap there, but thinking about those distinct examples of where you've done communication, held that might be email communication, it might be marketing backgrounds and experience. In my I've written a book about all of this, but I talk about you're selling Salesforce to people on this journey. You're selling them what the tool's going to do for them, what it can offer, how it can add value to them. So communication and any backgrounds in sales skills is really valuable to put on your CV, because you are getting people bought into a new product. And so if you've got communication and particularly sales skills, influential skills, that's going to add value, because in any of those roles, you're kind of having to do some of that potentially. Leadership skills are very valuable. Now, again, you might not have had an official leadership title, but as an example of that, I felt, I started this when I was like 32, being a Salesforce consultant. And I found it was quite a privilege really to be in facilitating a workshop with quite often quite mature managers, who are in their 50s and 60s, and then really leaning into me and saying, can I have your advice on X, Y, Z? And they were looking at me to transform their processes of their company to put in a new system, which is going to manage all of their operations. And I had to lead them through that journey. So, I had to kind of guide them on that journey and say, have those leadership skills. So if you've been in any situation where you're basically leading people on a journey to adopt new things, introduce new ideas, I say generate buy-in from people, they're all leadership skills, even if you didn't have leader in your job title. So think about how you've perhaps been a leader in certain capacities, and how you can represent that on your CV. Process improvement is one. So, maybe you've been part of any project at work or at school or wherever it is, volunteer environment, where you've improved processes because things weren't working quite right. That might be, you flagged customer complaints or something's come up and you've reviewed how things can work. Think about how you can sell that in. Say, I've been part of process improvement here and here to improve volunteer management or improve a sales process before. And you might have done that through developing process maps, or it might have just been through facilitating a conversation, or documenting or suggesting new technology. Again, you've got to sell in these traits, but this is sort of all the things that resonate with a Salesforce role. It's all of these things is what you would be doing in these jobs. And then the final thing is customer engagement and journey building, which really resonates with maybe more of a marketing cloud role, and really thinking through, well, how do we engage with customers? How do we communicate to customers? What do we send to them when? So some of you might have had this type of role before where you're doing customer engagement journeys and journey building. So again, these are skills that you would think about and sell in if you were moving over to this, into one of these new roles. So it'd be lovely for you to share again in the chat, any of these specific skills and experience or skills that you feel resonate with you. There's another little bit of an exercise. Let me know if you've got any questions at this point as well. Any burning questions? Some people can't concentrate if they've got a question. I ask loads of questions normally, so I resonate with that. Thank you, Monique. Quite a few there. Definitely all of them, fantastic. All of them except the salesy ones, no problem. Great, thank you for sharing. Brilliant. And the thing is, and what is important thing is you don't need all of these skills. It's just aligning with whatever job role you might have had that maybe came up in that quiz. And I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, that definitely is a job that I need to do. It's it's obviously an indicator of potentially where you might lean, but you can certainly explore more. And we encourage people to talk to our alumni, reach out to them. We have when people join the community, they can connect with each other through our alumni groups and find out more about the job roles and really explore if it's right for you, discuss which one they want to do. So these are all just to kind of give you ideas. No worries, Stephen. Thank you for sharing that. And I think, in confident in your abilities, all of them, is what's proved really valuable is if you're in a job interview, is to say, look, these are where my strengths are. These are things I'd really like to develop and strengthen and do more courses in. And so there's nothing wrong with, continue showing that you want to learn and develop. And I think employers really value that, and that you are invested in learning and developing those skills. And we're all on a learning journey at the end of the day. So when I started the Salesforce role work, I did the technical admin course to start with, which is what we'll sort of go on to next, is to sort of think, well, actually, how do I train up? And then I went through and did business analysis, training in business analysis, project management, change management as additional skills to make me feel comfortable that I could be a Salesforce consultant and wear all those hats. And so I invested in that group of courses to get obviously the higher salary, but then, as I say, the investment pays off for itself because you're earning more as a result of it. But I had the confidence. Now, you don't need to start there. You can obviously start with one of those roles, skill up in one thing, and then sort of digress from there. At Supermums, we can train you to do all of these things. We have all the training, that whole raft of training. But you might say, well, actually, I just want to start here, and then I'll move to there. And you work your way through. So if we talk about the different skills you need, we talk about a 2-year sort of journey really that people will go on. So let me just get rid of this chat. So if you were starting and wanting to move into the Salesforce space, we would be recommending that whatever job role you want to go into, you do the Salesforce Administrator certification, which gives you all the knowledge of the basics of the platform. Now, getting your Salesforce administrator qualification doesn't mean you have to be an admin, but what it does give you is give you the foundation knowledge to walk into any of those job roles. And obviously you can walk into those job roles if you've got reflective skills and experience to land that job, and I'll come on to that in a moment. But with the admin foundation course, we provide with that work experience, a lot of practical hands-on practice work as well throughout it. And we give everybody on our course a one-to-one mentor who meets with you weekly to oversee what you're building and practicing, and to help you to make sure that you get it, you understand it, to quality assess the quality of it, if you like, and help you get it right. And a homework record gets submitted every week between yourselves to say, yes, they've understood this competency, they understand it. So each week you do 16 hours of study, you meet with your mentor, they support you, so you're never left alone. Whereas if you just did online training where you're kind of working through it all by yourself and you get stuck and you've got nobody to talk to or help you, that can be quite problematic. Whereas on our courses, you're part of a peer group of other people going through it. So quite often, if people get stuck, they'll ask the group, somebody else has got it, they'll help each other. When you've got your one-to-one mentor there as well, who will meet you for 1 to 2 hours a week to support you. Now, that mentor has overseen and verified your learning, so they can give you a fantastic reference, and obviously that can go on LinkedIn, which verifies that, yes, I can, confirm that this trainee has completed XYZ and is able to do it. And these mentors are incredible. We have an amazing pool of mentors from a whole range of companies and experiences that I've been with quite a few of them today, and they can give you into the ecosystem, the job opportunities and what they offer. So they don't just necessarily need to support you with your technical work. You can ask them all these other questions and they can give you advice on getting jobs and everything else as well. So once you've kind of gone through the 3-month training program, you would then study for your certification, and we'd run study month 4 is a study set of study sessions that you would do with us and get that certification. Once you've got your certification, you can then apply to do work experience with us. We would definitely give you work experience if that's what you wanted. Some people choose not to because they go and they manage to get a job straight away, or they've got another way to get work experience. But if you want work experience, we'd obviously invite you to submit for that. And the work experience that we offer is with a non-profit organisation. And you would be working alongside another experienced Salesforce person who, again, can verify your work and check that you've done it okay and provide that reference for you. So that's what we guarantee to people who go on our program, is that you get that handhold support all the way through. You have a 2.5 hour live instructor session per week, which is recorded. So if you can't make it live, it is there for you to watch. You get practice that competency that you're learning for that week over and over again. One through doing what we call the trailheads, one through building out a practical org yourself and getting your hands dirty and building and practicing those skills. And then you've got the work experience as well. So we really reinforce the knowledge. You can get 3 references off the back of it, one from your mentor, one from the person overseeing your work experience, and one from the training instructor to say you've shown up and been on the training course and you've completed the training. And then we'd equip you to say, you do the study sessions to get your admin cert. So that gives you all the foundation knowledge that you need of the product. Now, depending then on which way you go, after that, if you were wanting to become a Salesforce administrator, we would recommend that you then get the platform app builder and advanced administrator certifications. Now, there is some additional study for that. There is a lot of material available online. We run peer study groups to support you with that as well. Peer study support groups where we support you with the learning and study for those elements. And they would be additional certs that are actually not that difficult to get after admin, because there's a lot of overlap between admin and those. There's just some additional knowledge. So within the next month or 2, you could pass those certifications, get that additional knowledge. And they're what I call the hat trick consultants for somebody that wants to become a Salesforce administrator. So not that hard to get, just a little more added value knowledge that you'd want to do if you wanted to work and build out systems. Now, if you decide that you don't want to necessarily focus on the build, but you want to become more of a project manager or BA, instead you might want to specialize more in consultancy skills. So we run a consultancy skills course. We offer a bundle price on this. So if you bought it at the same time as the admin course, we offer it for £500, 50% off of what it is normally. And you get that as part of the as a bundle price if you want to do it. Otherwise you can pay for it later on. But with that course we cover business analysis, agile project management, and change management skills. With those additional skills, you normally negotiate, you can normally get a 10k pay rise over, or higher pay than you would if you're working as an administrator without those skills. So again, it's it's a good trade-off in terms of what you get, but we equip you with all of those different skill sets. So you can do that. I've got some people who are training on consultancy skills at the same time as admin. I've got others that have done the admin course, they've waited a year and then done consultancy skills later. Now, depends on your background, your confidence in yourself, what your past experience has been as to how quick you might want to develop. Might depend on your quiz answer. If it's come out that you're a Salesforce consultant, maybe you think, well, actually, I want to learn all these things and then sort of get stuck in. We had trainees with no background before, like we've had people who've worked in the hospitality sector. We've had somebody who's been a diamond retailer go in and be a Salesforce consultant from day one because they've invested in their skills and got job opportunities there. So there is the opportunity, if you invest in these skills and train up, you can get in, certainly get the foot in the door with these opportunities. Now, whichever track you go down, whether you go down the Salesforce admin track or you go down the Salesforce BA or consultancy route, you'd start to learn more about the products that Salesforce have. So I've talked about Sales Cloud for the sales team. I've talked about Service Cloud for the service customer support team. There's non-profit cloud for non-profits. There's financial cloud. There's health cloud. There's communications media cloud. You name it, there's a cloud. But you don't need to go and learn all these clouds necessarily. Depending on your background and experience, you might focus in on one. So one of our trainees, Marie, she just focuses on Sales Cloud, and she works for a Salesforce consultancy that just implements Sales Cloud for people. She didn't actually have a sales background at all. She was a teacher, but she's working for an organization that just implements Sales Cloud. So these consultancy certifications help you really understand the product in more depth. You get to learn about Sales Cloud, Service Cloud as part of the Salesforce Administrator certification. So you get an introduction to all of those. But with these certifications and training track, and again, we run peer study groups to help you learn these certifications, which are free peer study groups. It would give you the more advanced knowledge and understanding of those products. So they're great things to add to your belt. And what I'd really advocate here is, you know, I just want to be really clear that if you just do the admin cert, you know, and that's the thing that you only think you need to do, that's not really going to help you progress or probably get that job. The reality is that, you know, the admin cert is where you're starting, but there are all these other certifications that you can go on to do and develop. And there are over 40 different certifications. You don't need to get 40 certifications at all, because each of them has different specialisms and different tracks. There's different products you can specialize in and routes you can go down. So you'd probably end up, you know, on average, maybe having 7 or 8 certifications to your belt, realistically, you know, and be earning a really good wage with that sort of level. You don't need to get 7 or 8 certifications in the first year. You know, I've got 7 or 8 certifications over 10 years. I don't need more than that. You know, I'm not saying you have to rush this or kind of progress any track. I have had Supermum trainees, though, that have got 8 certifications in 2 years and they've doubled their salary, though. So obviously their motivation is to earn as much money as quickly as possible and get certified. And to do that, they decided to work part-time, 3 or 4 days a week. So they had time to study, earn, but they had a game plan that they knew that they structured that in a year's time, you know, 2 years' time, they've doubled their salary. So that was their game plan. So, you know, you can work it whichever way you want. You know, if you work full time, but you're on a lower salary, but you've not got time to study, you know, you might then not progress. But it really is a case by case basis. And that's why I'd really encourage, you know, you to book in a call with Shellham and discuss your, you know, your personal situation. If you want to know more about this and explore it, book in a call with our team and just kind of understand, okay, well, you know, talk all of this through, because I'm sure you've got lots of questions about it. But we can sort of support all of that. And what also we've got in here is if you have got a marketing background, then you might want to specialize in Marketing Cloud. Now, Marketing Cloud is a product of Salesforce. You know, it's all about marketing and engagement. If you had a marketing background and enjoyed marketing, Marketing Cloud is the course that you'd want to do. So we run, I've talked so far about our admin course. We've got the consultancy skills course. We run the Marketing Cloud course as well, which trains you upon their specific product. Now, you can just learn Marketing Cloud and you don't need those others. Or we have had people that learn admin and Marketing Cloud because the two systems do connect. And so obviously having both of those certifications can be an advantage, because you know how Salesforce connects to Marketing Cloud and how you can integrate data. You don't need to have both. You can be a Marketing Cloud consultant that just specializes on Marketing Cloud and sending emails out to people and being that email specialist and developing other things, whereas there will be other people in the team that do that connection with Salesforce with Marketing Cloud. So some people go down this route and come into Supermums and just focus on Marketing Cloud. And with that, we would start off with the Marketing Cloud email specialist certification and the Marketing Cloud administrator certification. Within the first 3 months, you'd sort of get those certifications, and that's where you'd land. People who've gone through our Marketing Cloud course and then put it on LinkedIn, for example, have been approached by companies. They've had 6 interviews, they've got 3 job offers, you know, and they're working with some amazing consultancies. There's a massive shortage of talent. You know, this is echoed really in the Salesforce space as well as Marketing Cloud. You know, people will gobble you up because there is a shortage of talent and earn you great wages. So, you know, these are great places to start. We, as I said, train you in the skills for Marketing Cloud to get these 2 certifications. When you've continued to learn the product and get your confidence with it, then you'd probably go for the Marketing Cloud consultant. You don't tend to do additional training for Marketing Cloud consultant. It's just being more familiar with the product and using it that allows you to have more experience and be ready to get that certification. They would be the 3 certifications where you would earn that. And you can really, again, on contract day rates, you can earn really well. You know, we place people as Marketing Cloud roles and they can be earning £600 a day through Marketing Cloud. And all the big FTSE companies use Marketing Cloud. A lot of them use it to manage all their marketing. And within Marketing Cloud, you can go into a whole range of these different roles. So digital marketing manager, email specialist, marketing automation specialist, marketing cloud administrator, analyst, consultant. Again, if you think about these same hats, they're very similar to the Salesforce hats. You've got admin, analyst, consultant, same traits. You'd specialize in those different roles that I've talked about for Salesforce, but in this product. So again, you can just wear one of those hats, or you can wear all of those hats. You can do the design, you can do the build, you can do the coordination. Those different roles in this product, the same as Salesforce really, on there. And I say these are the salaries people are getting from a basis to contract basis, and relative to the USA as well. So over 75% of our Marketing Cloud alumni land an average 60k job in 90 days of completing the course and been through our program. So it's really good success rate from that point of view. So that is a lot of information I've thrown at you on there. But this is sort of summary, as I say, of what we provide through the course, so the virtual training, the mentoring, the work experience. We do a lot of career coaching. We have our recruitment team that will help you, apply for job opportunities. Equally, we'd also help, Shellen runs our career coaching sessions, which helps you look at your LinkedIn profile and how to make yourself visible, so employees can find you as well, and you could find a job that way, and get you certified. And then we have our massive alumni community where you can connect in with people who are working at all these amazing companies. And we've had quite a few alumni actually go and work for the same companies, because they found those jobs through that network and talking to them all. So we want you to be part of Supermums for Life. If you join us, you join a community. We've placed people 4 times in 4 different job roles over 6 years, for example, and each time they've got a promotion and opportunity. So we're really equally there to help you on your job journey, not just at the beginning, but also there, because it's amazing. We want to see you progress and develop, so we can continue training you, we can continue supporting you with your job role throughout. And we have really good reputation in the sector, and obviously with employers. So within this, I've got some case studies, testimonials, and we've got more information about the course. So Jennifer shared this link to this guide on the resources page. This is all in there with the amount. So our admin course, facts, so it's 4 months of study, and then work experience happens after that. The cost of that is 2,400 or £840 a month. In sterling, or for USA dollars, it's 2,943, or $1,015 a month over 3 months for the admin course. Our next start date, Shellen, if you want to put it in the chat, is in February. We do have a special offer though for you tonight, a bonus offer, that if you want to sign up by the 26th of January for our admin course, we will give you a bonus accelerator course, which is basically a 4-hour masterclass around the Salesforce Associate certification, which is kind of your baseline certification before admin. But we will give you a 4-hour masterclass, which will be live on the 31st of January. It will be recorded though, so if you can't make it live, it's okay. But it will really give you a good foundation for starting the course. And so that will be available to you. And also we will give you I will deliver a VIP masterclass to you on how to find your career within the Salesforce ecosystem as well. So we've got a couple of bonus offers if you want to sign up in January by the 26th for doing the course, which will kind of give you a really good foundation, allow you to start a bit earlier so you don't have to wait, and kind of give you that heads up. So that's our January offer for you. And if you are interested in Marketing Cloud, the courses, the prices, the Marketing Cloud are not in here, so we'll share that with you as well. I think they're the same prices, aren't they, Shellen? I think Marketing Cloud. Our next course for Marketing Cloud starts.
Yes, they are the same price.
Yeah, good. Thank you, Jen. And the Marketing Cloud course starts in March.
Yes, the next one is the week 29th of January, and then I think the next one after that is March. Yes. I can't remember the date off the top of my head. Sorry.
No, we didn't come that prepared with our dates, but we'll share that. And everybody always has a conversation with Shellen and Lynn anyway before they sign up to our courses. We really recommend it because we absolutely want to make sure the course is right for you, and it's that consolidation. So we would never really expect anybody to sign up the course just online without having a chat with our team, because we really want to make sure it's the right decision for you. And to make sure there's, it's going to be a successful outcome for you. So we'd really encourage you to book in a team with Shellen and Lynn, and their lovely faces down here. So Shellen's based in the USA, but she covers a whole range of time zones, and you might speak to her. And Lynn's in the UK, and again, they sort of you'll get booked in with a time that's available for them. So I think that's everything. It's 10 to 10. I've done well. It goes so quickly. It feels like an hour and a half is a really long time, and then we get there and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've just been rambling on for an hour and a half. But I hope that's really been useful for you. And it's giving you an indication. Just think about your attributes, your skills and industry, regardless of whether you do it with us or somebody else. I want this to have been a useful hour and a half for you in whatever capacity, I hope, and for you to just get more of an indication about what Salesforce is, and the job opportunities that exist. So for the next 10 minutes, happy to answer any questions. If you don't want to ask them publicly, and you want to book in the one-to-one, then I'd absolutely encourage you to do that with Shellen and Lynn. And I think they can say the links in the chat for you to do that. So yes, let me know if you've got any questions. I'm happy to answer them before we wrap up, and it's bedtime for some of us. We continue to stay wherever you are.
I just wanted to ask, if it's okay, about the jobs. There's jobs sort of out there in the world, and you've got to go get them once you're trained. Is that right? And you support people doing that? Is that how it works?
Yeah, so we support you to do that in a number of ways. So we do fortnightly career coaching sessions, where we will support you to think about how you sell yourself on your CV, get your LinkedIn profile up to date, encourage you to network with our community, to make yourself visible, so employers can find you that way. But equally, we're really keen to obviously support you into job opportunities. So we work with a whole range of employers on a raft of roles. And so we will onboard you into our recruitment team, help you get your CV formatted, and present you to job opportunities that come in. But Supermums doesn't have obviously all the job opportunities ecosystem, so we don't want to limit you by saying you can only work with us in our recruitment team, because we wouldn't want to limit your chances of obviously a wider market, a job market pool. So we have the career coaching, fortnightly. We have an employment readiness module that I put together, which gives you all the top tips and guidance to actually think about applying and going for job opportunities as well. So there's a whole sort of training module on that. And then we've got our recruitment team who will support you. So we do as much as reasonably can to obviously get you into a job opportunity. Obviously, how you then present at interview, some people who've been out of work and have had no Salesforce experience have landed the first job just because they've sold themselves really well. So we want to obviously present you with that. Whereas, different people might be more anxious or nervous or, not perform. So it might take you a few interviews to get, that first job. But every job interview you go to, you learn and you kind of get better at. I mean, when I was a Salesforce consultant, I'd be pitching 3 or 4 times a week for work, and I'd be lucky if I won 50% of the jobs, right? I had to get used to rejection. Yeah. So we don't win everything, but every time you don't win a job, you go, what did I do there? What could I do better? And the advice that I give to people, because I teach the consultancy skills course, but and they're like, oh, I've never done a demo before, I've never done anything. I'm like, well, you've got to practice. It's like being an actress. An actress or an actor doesn't go on stage for the first time and just perform and brilliant. Like, you've got to practice at being in an interview and answering these questions. And you can do that with your mentor, or you can do it with a peer buddy in the group. If they want you to do a demo of what you've built, you've got to practice. So, if you're going in an interview, all this prep will build your confidence and knowledge, a bit like an actress or an actor going on stage. And I think that really resonates with people, because like, oh yeah, that, I need to do a bit more practice work. So obviously, if you're starting out in a new industry, you've got to build up and really work on that mindset, and overcome that imposter syndrome to sell yourself in. And that's what Shellen does on the career coaching a lot of the time, is really building that confidence and assurance and that mindset piece. Shellen and I are both coaches, NLP coaches and background. So we obviously bring that in alongside the more practical things like your LinkedIn profile as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Lily. Stephen had a question.
Yeah, just with regards to the 20 weeks of learning, the 16 hours a week, how is that at set times, or are you able to sort of fit it flexibly into your own sort of life schedule?
Yeah, great question. So it can be completely flexible, but we run the live training sessions for 2.5 hours. It's 2.5 to 3 hours every week at a specific time. Now, Jen, do you know the time of the course starting in February, in day and time? I haven't got that.
I don't, sorry, off the top of my
So
head.
it's either
Sorry.
they're either run Tuesdays. It depends on where you are located.
If you give me 1 minute, I'll just look while you're talking.
Yeah, thank you. You can go grab those times. So if you're based in the UK or Europe time zone, you could either join an evening course, which starts about 5:30, or you can join a morning course. So you've got more capacity, more options, to be honest, to join that live training session in the evening or a morning, because we run an admin course twice every quarter. If you're in the USA, we run the one that's in the evening UK time is the one that would be running the US, and that's typically I think it's the afternoon at the USA time. So, and that then works for Australia in the morning. So we kind of try and do an overlap so people can join from all over the world. So we run the admin course twice in a given week at different time zones, so it kind of covers everybody off. And sort of do it that way. So we will share those times with you. They are in the pack that you download off the website as well. And going back, sorry, just to finish off that question, they are recorded. So we've had people that work full time, do the course, and so they've played catch up if they can't make those recorded sessions, and the rest of the 16 hours is all in your own time. Now, the only caveat I'd say to that is obviously if you want to do the work experience project, then that would typically be in the working hours of the UK or the USA, wherever you are, where you'd need to interact with the customer. Now, you don't have to do all the build and everything in it, but you probably have to have meetings with them during their working hours to engage. But the rest of the time you can do it in the weekends or evenings or whenever suits you. So it's very flexible in that way, and it can fit around everything.
I can second that. I did the admin course in 2018, and I had a little tiny baby in my arms, and she dropped her morning nap the day I started my course. So I didn't actually attend any of my sessions live. I had to watch them all on catch up when she had a nap later on. But I found it really helpful, I think, having I could watch a session and then pause it and kind of do my homework alongside. So it's nice that you do have both options, obviously, whether you can join live or obviously play them back. So it either is, like Heather said, definitely possible.
No, thanks.
No worries. Any other questions? Stephanie.
Hi. I was just wondering where the employment readiness pack or module is that something available to us if we've done the course, or is that something separate?
It's all embedded in the course.
Okay, so is that, well, I find that within the portal, basically. Is that in there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
No worries. Any other questions? Lovely. No worries. Well, you can go and reflect on all the information. Thank you for joining us this evening. It's been lovely to meet you all. As I say, if you've got any other questions, follow up with us. We'll have a chat. If you want to take advantage, obviously, of the bonus offer, you've got until the 26th of January for that, for added value content and to get you started on your journey quicker. Because I know some people are championing at the bit to sort of progress through it, and it'd be good foundation knowledge for you all. So Thank you again for joining, and I hope you have a brilliant day wherever you are in the world.
I'll send a follow-up email tomorrow, and I'll put all of the links that were in the chat today in it, and I'll also mention the bonus offer as well. So just in case maybe you've missed a link, they'll all be there for you tomorrow.
Brilliant. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for the lovely feedback. I'm glad you found it useful. Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.